Well, one of the books that I read many years ago said you don't make your money when you sell the house. You make your money when you buy it. So you got to buy it below market cost. And the other thing too is, again, being a plumber, I do have the advantages. Everything that you can't see where there's plumbing, you got to figure out a way to see it. And by that, I'm referring to a sewer line or water lines under the ground. One of the houses that I flipped that Darren and I sold, and it had a heating system in the concrete slab, was a rate of forced air heat. I was able to camera that system, so I knew what was under the ground. Sewer lines, camera them, water services, check them out, make sure if it's old galvanized lines, you got to move on. You got to know what you're going to get into. So try to dig below what you see to know what you're going to put in for repairs.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guests are Bob Beall and Darren Burke. Darren is a Keller Williams agent out of the Cleveland, Ohio market, and Bob is a master plumber licensed in 5 states. Bob also holds a bachelor's degree in business and is a real estate agent in Pennsylvania and Florida, and he's flipped over 50 homes in his career, and he's legally blind. He's a motivational speaker as well who uplifts others in the trades and beyond. You can find Bob online at bobistheplumber.com or on all his socials is the plumber. Bob and Darren, thanks for taking the time today.
My pleasure. Our pleasure.
Now, we were talking before hopping on the show here. You guys are actually in Manila in the Philippines, and I'm talking to you from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, and we're going to talk about plumbing and real estate today. How cool is this?
Fabulous. It's amazing.
What time is it over there? It's 9 a.m. over here.
9 p.m. at night.
Wow. Yeah.
We're going to be watching back this podcast, and it's really just remarkable how these connections are being made because, like I said, we're talking plumbing and real estate, and we're in 2 totally different parts of the world, but real estate has enabled us to have this conversation. Now, I was watching your socials, your TikTok and Instagram, and you've got really a tremendous brand. I actually want to start there and ask you about, building a brand as a plumber. It's not something that I've seen too many people do. When I think of, the trades, I kind of think of folks who may have a book of business, but don't necessarily have a social media brand. When did that all come about for you?
I started about April or May of this year. It was had some other adventures going on, and I kind of was looking for the next step of life. Yeah, I just started it. Been learning my way through every curve of it, from buying equipment to knowing where Riverside FM is to Spotify and everything. It's been a learning curve.
Now, when we talk specifically about scaling a business in the plumbing field, and not just your brand, but also what people can do to retain clients and gain exposure. Most of the time when I think of this, I kind of think of spheres of influence. That's at least the plumbers that I know. That's how they're operating. But once you get to a certain point, now you're, purchasing marketing, you're having maybe ad space. For newer plumbers who may be just starting out, they're somewhere along their journey, right? They might not be a master plumber just yet. They might be a journeyman, right? What advice would you have for them if they're thinking at some point in time about, scaling their own business and brand?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Tell them to think twice about it, but no, with more so seriousness, a plan. You have to have a plan. How are you going to fail it? I mean, how are you going to fulfill your dreams? The number of calls you need per day, your average call to be able to, to support your advertising. It's much simpler than soldering a pipe together or cleaning a drain. You have to have a plan. No plan is a plan to fail.
Now, I want to ask Darren this question. When we think about, outreach and marketing, as a real estate agent myself, and I know both of y'all are real estate agents as well, it's just part of my everyday life. Like, I'm just always conducting some level of outreach, even when I'm not even thinking about it. I'm, dropping in, real estate or investing in something that I'm doing. When you see, Bob and then other people in the plumbing space get more into maybe the kinds of marketing and brand awareness that we might be doing, do you think that this is a general trend that will continue in the trades? Or do you think that, hey, most of the trades people are probably going to not necessarily have that level of brand that we might have as realtors?
Well, no, I think it's evolving because I think it's easier now with the technology for everybody to actually put themselves out there and build a brand. And I think with the advantages that AI brings us, it really is going to offer a lot of, I think, separation, but also ability to really, for an individual to maximize their growth. And I think you're going to see a lot of separation in all markets, in all those different fields.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk specifically about, building a brand from nothing, from the ground up. I mean, again, Bob, looking at your channels, you told me you got started not even a year ago, and you've got so much up there. You can really see that, hey, with a focused plan, it doesn't take, years of effort, but you can start to build that brand and gain credibility through the website, through having multiple social media channels, through being on podcasts, having your own podcast and putting consistent content out there. One of the things that I noticed about your bio that's interesting is you haven't just done the plumbing, you haven't just been a real estate agent, but you've done 50 flips. And so I've always said, people who are in the trades should do some type of real estate investing because they're the best people to work on homes. How did you get started with the flips? When was your first flip?
Oh, man. I actually, my first flip was back in the 80s. Yeah,
Okay,
88.
at
I
that
was just out of high school.
point in time, were you involved in the plumbing field at that point, or was that even before that?
No, I've always been involved in the plumbing field. I started plumbing with my dad back in 1984. So the plumbing just came natural, and luckily I was blessed to learn from my dad and some other builders the insides of construction, which makes a flip much easier to know. To know what load bearing walls are versus a non-load bearing wall.
Yeah.
And then I personally believe in surrounding yourself by good people. I mean, this is how Darren and we actually went to high school together, and we reacquainted when I was looking for a realtor to sell a couple of the flips that I did over the years, and we reacquainted, but 10 years ago?
Yeah, probably about
Yeah,
that.
10 years ago. And it's an important role to put a good team, All the gurus that teach you this thing is they preach about a team. So, you need a team. You need a good general contractor. You need a good plumber. You need a good electrician. The mechanics are important, and a good realtor. And we've quabbled over commission, and Darren used a phrase one time that I've quoted several times. Do you want me to list your house, or do you want me to sell your house? And I think that putting yourself around by people that have that attitude and that demeanor helps with the whole process. Agreed.
It's true. And one of the first times he called me, he was actually struggling to sell a home that had been on the market 80 some days with no activity. And so he asked me if I'd go look at it. It was listed with his another realtor. And I had to pull back brush to get in the house. And then, there was a leak in the ceiling, and there was just a lot of issue, very overgrown around it. Couldn't even see the front of the house. The bathroom needed some love as far as just a makeover. So I actually brought in a couple people and got some quotes and just said, look, it really was a couple $1,000s, a ridiculously small amount of money. And Bob's like, go for it. So I authorized the work, and we relisted the house and sold it in 2 days. To me, the benefit of having someone like a Bob or a contractor is the way realtors search for new business, that you have to search for trades in the same way. You have to find those trusted others and have them as a part of your network to help you on these flips, or buying houses and just getting them ready for a rental. Because that's one of the biggest things, I think.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, I mean, I have my license, but I've never listed one of the houses I flipped myself. I use Darren. He finds me houses. The only reason I have my own license is so I don't have to bother him every time they need a lockbox key or whatever. Keeps it simple. But, even though I have my license, but I'm a plumber. I do what I do best. Okay, he's a realtor. He does what he does best, and we hang out in the Philippines together.
Now, when we talk specifically about managing flips, one of the things that flippers always talk about is you have to have the right people on these flips, both because you got to make sure that deadlines are being met, but also because you don't want to have to go back and redo some of the work. And the big things that come up that I've seen are plumbing issues, electrical issues, foundation issues. I'd throw in maybe a roof as well, although a roof may be less complicated to fix than pervasive plumbing or foundation issues. For folks who are not, licensed plumbers, right, and don't have a background growing up in the trades or in construction, what advice would you have for them if they're interested in getting started with flips?
Well, one of the books that I read many years ago said you don't make your money when you sell the house. You make your money when you buy it. So you got to buy it below market cost. And the other thing too is, again, being a plumber, I do have the advantages. Everything that you can't see where there's plumbing, you got to figure out a way to see it. And by that, I'm referring to a sewer line or water lines under the ground. One of the houses that I flipped that Darren and I sold, and it had a heating system in the concrete slab, was a rate of forced air heat. I was able to camera that system, so I knew what was under the ground. Sewer lines, camera them, water services, check them out, make sure it's, if it's old galvanized lines, you got to move on. You got to know what you're going to get into. So try to dig below what you see to know what you're going to put in for repairs.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Good advice.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when we talk specifically about not knowing, right, that's a huge issue, right? For folks who everything seems good on maybe a superficial or surface level, and then they start, maybe doing some level of rehab, and then more issues arise. I've seen this time and time again. And it's one of the risks of flipping, right? Is that especially if you're someone who's not from the background of the trades, not from the background of construction, that you might purchase something that has now pervasive issues. And so when we talk about, risk tolerance, some people say, okay, I'm going to buy just on market properties that are already rental grade. Other folks might say, hey, I'll buy maybe something that's off market, or maybe something that needs some light rehab. But then you've got folks, I'm imagining I'd throw you in this category, Bob, who are comfortable with more of a full rehab based on their experience and their scope of work.
Well, yeah, I mean, every time he gets one that's a total rehab, I'm his first phone call. Because he knows when I go in and do them, I take him down to the studs. One that we did that he brought me was, I put an addition on it, and again, it was just a little slab house with the block walls. I mean, basically everything was new except the exterior walls and the roof.
Darren, I want to ask you this. Sorry to cut you off, Bob. Darren, I want to ask you this question. I know Cleveland, Ohio, which, forgive me, I'm a little bit ignorant on Cleveland, but I've had many investors tell me that they're looking at Cleveland, and it does seem to be one of these secondary markets that is a hot area. Can you for myself and for folks on the show who may be interested, what's the market like for real estate investors in Cleveland? Are there properties that people can find on the market? Are there a lot of great off-market opportunities? Are deals penciling out there?
Well, one of the great things about Cleveland is it's one of the last vestiges of affordability in the United States. So, the average price points in Cleveland are among the lowest in the nation. And so we have that going for us. Cleveland's never going to be big, huge swings, where a lot of the markets have gone down around the exteriors of the country in Florida, Texas, California, and some of those areas. Cleveland is still in a seller's market. And so we are in still a tight inventory market. However, even with that, I mean, there's less multiple offers than there used to be. And with the affordability, there's a lot of consistency in being able to buy there at a lower level. One of my friends is from Toronto, where price of houses is, close average price points about $1.5 million. You come down to Cleveland and buy something for less than $200,000, $150,000, $200,000. So it really is a much more attractive, easy entry to get in.
We actually are coming up on time here, though. Where can folks go to reach out to you, Bob, and where can folks go to get in contact with you, Darren?
Well, for me, you can Google Darren Burke Realtor, and search CLE.com is my website. And
BobIsAplumber.com. Everybody watching, just scroll down to the bottom of the website, fill out the form, and get some swag sent to you. I'm just trying to build a brand for myself and become that credible person in the industry.
Darren and Bob, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for coming on the show.
hey, enjoyed it.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.